Hi all, Mike here with Cinesamples, and this is the Voices of War Men of the North walkthrough video. So, this is Voices of War, and this is our next vocal library that we recorded at the MGM Scoring Stage, our old stomping grounds. And we recorded men only, and the way that we did it is we recorded them in a semicircle around the conductor. I'll show you a couple of pictures here. So I'm going to start with this first patch, which is called Vowel Morph, which is one of the key patches. It's just good for doing nice pads. And now, as I go through these patches, I want you to notice something. We have a dynamic blend smoothing function, which is pretty cool, and it works great for voices. So if you see this blue dot here, as I move, in my case, I have a mod wheel. As I move this, you'll see that the dot kind of tracks just behind it. And I'll show you a difference between when it's on and off. Okay, now I'm going to turn that off, and we all remember what it's like when you... Right? So if you add it back, you can actually... I mean, I wouldn't suggest playing really jagged things, but it smooths it out dramatically, and it's a great, great function. This also works for morphing between vowels, oohs and ahs. So let's move on to our patches. So, I mean, everything's split up into a number of patches that you can load individually, but you can also access them all right within the master patch. And by the way, we have a number of mixes that we've done. These are custom mixes that Tim Starnes did, who works with us. Tim was a music editor on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he's somewhat familiar with this sound that we're trying to go for here. And he also worked on the original Drums of War that we put out almost a decade ago now. So we're starting with this mix that we're calling Dragonborn. And so this is the sus, just a simple sus ooh and ah. And this allows you ooh and ah, right? With the CC2. Okay. And then we have a legato patch, which is our usual with the legato transitions. Okay. Now we have this patch that's called Chants, and all of the words, this is actually kind of it creates syllables and simulates a Norse language. We actually hired a linguist in Europe to help us with this. And the words are about death and war and all sorts of... And then we have some Norse shouts, which are just sort of uttered phrases or uttered syllables.
Great, to, lo, hol, I, he.
Right? And then we have the same ones that are just sort of whispered. Right? And now we actually sampled fourths. These are not, created in Contact after the fact. These are actually recorded this way. And fifths, of course. Oops. It's just a beautiful sound. By the way, if you're watching this video, I highly recommend you put headphones on. So this is the Vowel morph patch, but it's down an octave. Now here's pitch morph. What this does is I'll just play a single note, okay? So here's they're all singing a C, and then as I increase the breath control, CC2, you kind of veer from the pitch, and then you can bring them back in again. All right? So if I play here I'll do okay. All right, this one is particularly creepy. We had them all just do one big inhale, and that sounds like this. Yep. And here, let me show you a little Easter egg, okay? If you click the dragon's eye, which is right here, it will reverse everything. Not just this patch, but everything. So here it is in reverse. If that wasn't creepy enough, check this out. Okay? So cool. So these are the whispers, and this is a great patch for sort of like just want to have that sort of glue that holds a cue together. And actually, let me continue, and I'll show you how this sounds when you click the dragon's eye. Kind of reminds me when Frodo puts the ring on, you know? Okay, so here's a low growl. So that goes right here. And our poor singers, this was not good for their voices, but we had to be very careful. We didn't want to hurt anybody, so we just did a couple of passes of this one. And then loop it, you know, so. Okay, now we have low words. So now they're just kind of going through all the syllables that we created. You know, and then if we reverse it. And it's similar to the first patch I showed you, which is the Vowel morphs patch. It allows us to ooh and ah. All right, so that's that one. Now, let's move on. and I'll show you the second master patch, and this is the head mix. Okay, and when I say head mix, that is essentially the it's a binaural microphone, which is called Fritz, and let me show you a quick video about that. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to walk around. Make sure you're wearing your headphones. So right now I'm going to talk right in front of it. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. And now I'm going to walk around. So this is to the left ear. And now I'm behind. Testing, testing, testing. And this is the right ear. Hello, hello. And then back to the front. Hello, hello, hello. So here's a demonstration of the head mix. Okay. And let's move on. So here's another mix. This is a full spectrum mix. When I say mix, we literally rebounced everything and did a proper mix with hardware. And, you know, these aren't just using built-in contact mixing tools. So here's the full spectrum mix. This would be more of a traditional scoring stage mix, you know. Playing the same chord progression all the time, but okay. And then we have which is the tight mix, and this one's pretty cool. Oop. Master tight mix. So you get a lot more presence, a lot more closeness. Okay. Now we have some extra patches that are more effecty. Okay. So here's this one's called The Valley of Dragons. Distant. We actually have another one called Valley of Dragons, which I'll show next. All right. But here's the cool one. This is called Valley of Dragons. Not distant. That one's cool. All right, and then there's this one, which is Ancient Winds. This is a variation of the Whispers patch that I was talking about. All And then once again, you can reverse it. And play around with the blend knob. And all of the knobs, they all have, it's great to have this information as to what the heck things are doing, right? But hopefully you don't have to mess around with the GUI too much. We don't want that. It's our general philosophy. Trailer bass. This is kind of cool. This is, I don't know if anyone's ever been looking for like a sub bass. This is just a sort of variation of that. I don't know if you can hear it on YouTube, but it's down there. And so if, let's say you just have a simple orchestral string pad going, just add this down to the contrabasses and just a simple technique you can do to improve the production. So it's not just a simple orchestral patch, another way to color your strings. And then finally, we've got the Dragon Roar. Oh, actually, this isn't final. We have a couple more. This one's just a distorted craziness. Basically, it's the Norse Whispers patch just put through distortion. And then we have here's a growl. This one, just want to let it go. All right, and then this one's final. This is actually the very first patch we ever created. Like right after the day after the session, Ben Chrisman, who does our contact scripting, he was there and he built this really quick pad designer. And this is cool. It's just here. Let's do the old C minor chord. Okay. Now I'm going to increase this thing called chaos. Watch. Kind of just blurs it. Cool, right? Well, there you go. That is most of the features on Voices of War. There's so much more to dive into. I just don't want this video to be an hour long. But we thank you for watching. We're really proud of this one. And there's going to be, we believe this is going to be a start of a new series. We have Voices of War, Men of the North, and then we want to do Voices of War, Women of the North. And do it all at the Sony, the same concepts, and just kind of keep this going because we have the of war thing. We started with drums of war, and then actually next year, 2019, we have something coming up called horns of war, which I think you guys are gonna really get a kick out of. We'll talk more about that. So thank you for watching, and